to a brand new set of videos. In this series of videos I am going to be taking an in-depth look at each and every single piece of Doctor Who merchandise that I currently own, and of course I will be adding more stuff to the collection as we go along with this series of videos. So for this episode we are going to be focusing on the very top part of this glass cabinet, and of course all this stuff in front of you here is produced by Dalek, the toy manufacturer from the late 80s to the early to mid to late 90s really. Unfortunately they no longer do Doctor Who stuff due to a horrendous fire at their factory in Wales, which is just devastating, but we won't go there. Anyway, so as you can probably guess and tell, I have kind of colour coordinated for the very first time in my Doctor Who collection. This is all the gold coloured Daleks and villains that I have that Dalek have produced over the years. So let's take a closer look and see exactly what it is that is in this cabinet. So here we have a Dalek which is extremely rare. It was limited to only 200, so you won't see many of these floating around on eBay or anywhere else. They're very difficult to get hold of. So the only way to obtain this Dalek back in 2000 when it was released was if you were a subscriber to Big Finish. It was actually a freebie if you pre-ordered the Big Finish CD entitled The Genocide Machine. So very kind of, you know, rare and exclusive type of Dalek. They didn't do many of these particular models. Most of them you would have to have obviously bought, but this one was actually a freebie, which is a little bit annoying because it certainly wasn't free for me. I bought it only a few years ago, and I would say the value of this Dalek ranges from anything to 100 to maybe £200. It really depends on how many people, I guess, are bidding on it on eBay, because it obviously bumps up the price if there's more than one person going for it. But it cost me about £150, and as you can obviously tell, it's pretty awesome. It's gold, it's blue, it's, you know, it's even got a claw arm which the movie Daleks had. So everything about this Dalek is just fantastic. Now moving on to these Ice Warriors. Now Dalek released thousands if not millions of these Ice Warrior figures, but they of course were always green. These ones, I have two of them, which is pretty awesome, are covered in gold, and they also have black eyes. Now these Ice Warriors actually were exclusive to a Christmas edition of the Dalek range, and they were for the United States market, so they weren't officially released in the UK. And of course some of them have made it over the pond, thank goodness. Again, they're pretty difficult to get hold of. They're by no means very rare, but they are certainly rare enough for you not really to be able to get too many of them. Unfortunately there are copies out there of people that have just sprayed the green Ice Warrior gold themselves and painted the eyes black. So if you are going to pick these Ice Warriors up, if you see them on eBay or on Amazon, make sure that they are original. Do not encourage, I do not encourage, and I hope you don't encourage buying fakes, because there's no point really in doing so. They also come with a gun as well, and the gun here, if I can show you here, is also sprayed gold. Originally it would have been green. So moving on to these Daleks here, they're slightly bigger than the pull back and go Daleks. These Daleks are commonly known as friction drive Daleks, and they're actually based on a Louis Marks Dalek that was released way back in the 60s. And if we have a look at the bottom of this one here, for example, this little bit here, you probably aren't going to be able to see it necessarily, and it is upside down, so let's turn it around. It says made in Britain, and it has the Marks logo underneath it. But like I say, these were re-released as Dalek obviously got the rights to the sculpt, and they're pretty common. I do have quite a lot of these. Like I say, they normally cost you around about, I don't know, say 15 to 20 pounds. If they're in their packaging, they could be up to 30 or 40 pounds, but by no means are these very rare. And of course, with many of the Daleks that they released, there are many variants. So for example, here's another one here. The only thing different about this one, of course, is it hasn't got the black on the inside. It is all literally just coloured gold. Now moving across to this amazing figure, one of the best pieces in my collection. It is of course K9. Now K9 was released in several colours. There was the classically known green K9, which was actually produced by mistake. We'll get into that one a bit later on in another video. Then of course the standard grey K9 was very quickly released, and then this very special K9 was released for Christmas 2000 edition. Now this K9, like I said, is extremely rare, and I was very lucky to get hold of it. It was actually sold in a packaging, it's called the clamshell packaging, and it didn't have a backing card. This was literally just a basic special edition really, but of course nothing basic about it really. It was an actual United States exclusive, and it's dusty gold with stenciled Christmas 2000 logo onto it. Only on the left hand side, instead of it saying K9, it basically says Christmas 2000, and it also has a white tail as opposed to the grey coloured tail that the standard K9s would have. Now like I said, I'm extremely lucky to have this K9. Now this K9 did cost me quite a lot of money. I'm sure it was over the £200 mark. I was very lucky to get hold of it, and I'm very pleased to have it in the collection. I would love to know if any of you guys have this K9 figure in your collection, because I believe, I don't know the number of them that were made, but there can't be that many of them that are left here in the UK, and of course even in the US of A, I'm sure there isn't many of them. Now this little chap here is extremely unrare. It is a common Time Lord. I suppose you could say it's the rarer colour of the different Time Lords they released. A grey one, a brown one, a red one, and of course this one, which is cream and I guess kind of gold because of the headdress that it's wearing. It came exclusively in the 35th anniversary gift set, which I believe was limited to 350. So I'm pretty sure this chap was actually also singly released with other figures, so it isn't necessarily, you know, there's more than 350 of them about, but the set that I was mentioning just then actually is behind. So let's take a closer look at the actual 35th anniversary gift set that Dapol produced. So as you can see in the background of this glass cabinet display, we have the Dapol 35th anniversary gift set. This is number 121 of 350. So like I said earlier, only 350 of these sets were released. These sets were pretty incredible because they included not only the very rare gold-plated TARDIS, which obviously is brand new in its box, but I do have another one, and you'll see that in a later episode. It also included, as I mentioned, the cream-coloured Time Lord there. It has the Master, which is just a standard version. It has the Third Doctor over there, John Pertwee, which again is a standard version. It has a very special K9 up there, which is the 35th anniversary special edition. So of course there's only 350 of those made. But my favourite part of this set, without doubt, is the fact that it comes with not only just Davros, but it comes with Davros all blinged up, all in gold. He's got his gold chair, his gold hemispheres, and I've actually got another one just down here, so we'll take a closer look at Davros himself. As you can see, this is the Davros figure I was talking about. He just looks amazing. Only 350 of these were released. It was never released as a single figure. So again, it's quite hard to get hold of. The 35th anniversary gift set usually goes for anything about from around 75 to 150 pounds, depending on how lucky you are. I've got a few of these sets, which is quite nice. So I've been able to display obviously one brand new in its box. And I have a couple of others floating around, and also I've obviously unboxed one of them to have the figures themselves standing in my glass cabinet. So like I said before, the standard Davros figure is very similar to this one, but it has silver hemispheres and a silver back to his chair. If I turn this one around very carefully, you can see he's got the gold plated chair at the back there and the gold at the bottom. He's even got the gold around the base of his chair instead of it being just plain silver. Overall, again, this Davros figure I think is fantastic. I really do. Now moving on to these pull back and go Daleks, without doubt, without question, the best thing that Dapol ever produced was the Dalek, because Daleks are so easy to do. Now there's actually two variants here to show you. The first is a very kind of standard Dalek with its plunger here. There's two of them there, and there's two the other side, which you saw earlier on. Now, these Daleks, I believe, were actually sprayed gold by Dapol in the factory, but were actually produced on red plastic, because most of these Daleks, when you get them, you can probably just about tell from the angle anyway that there's actually red inside the domes, and if you scratch away at the paint, you know, quite vigorously, you will expose the red plastic. So, word of warning, if you are going to buy a gold Dapol Dalek, I would suggest you make sure it is really in mint condition, because when I was a kid, I had one and I can remember it kind of flaking away, and I was very upset because it was kind of turning into a standard red and silver Dalek, and I wasn't very happy about it. So do make sure when you get one it's in pristine condition if you can. These generally sell at about anything from £10 to £20. Now, like I said earlier on, there's actually a variant here. This one here, if I show you a little bit closer, has the claw arm, the movie arm, and for some reason these were obviously the movie Daleks. It's even got the movie style gun here, slightly different to the standard gun. They've obviously just gone ahead and sprayed over the movie Dalek, which was also released, the Peter Cushing movie Dalek I'm referring to. So they decided it would be a good idea to have two gold variants, I suppose. The gold claw Dalek, you know, the original ones like this one here, and also I have luckily another one next door to it, over here. You don't see them very often. I've been collecting this stuff for years and years, and to be honest with you, they're the only two that I've ever seen come up, so they don't come up very often whatsoever. So if you do see one, be sure to, you know, try and get it if it's what you want to have in your collection. The final part of this video is me going to be showing you the gold umbrella here. Of course, this was released for the 7th Doctor figure. Now, it's my understanding that they actually released dozens of different colours of umbrellas for the 7th Doctor. It's just a bit of fun, I suppose. The standard one would be red and black, but I managed to pick these two up, which have obviously been sprayed gold. I have many of these different colour ones, but obviously, as this is the theme of gold in this collection, I figured, well, why not just have the gold ones sitting down on the glass shelf here next to the Ice Warrior guns, and that's exactly what I did. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this video. Of course, like I said in the beginning of this one, this is the first of many. I'm going to be going through every single item in my Doctor Who collection, and we're going to be going from what Dapol to Product Enterprise to character options, and I hope you all come along for the journey. So please subscribe for more videos just like this, and I will see you all again very soon in the next part of the adventure. Bye for now.